Grand Rising Virgo, how are you doing on this beautiful fine morning? We are going to be doing the November monthly energy reports for you today, Virgo. Last month was actually my first month recording all the signs and getting all the signs down and getting my timing right. And unfortunately, in the month of October, I was not even able to fit Leo and Virgo in because, the timing and the celebrations. So, this is a learning process, so I try not to be too hard on myself. But my way of making it up this month was taking care of Leo and Virgo and getting them out of the way. So, Virgo, baby, today is a day about you. Today, we are going to get focused on you. Today I'm going to be pulling a total of 4 cards, 3 for the main and then the 4th one to sweeten the pot. 3 cards stands for action, and it also represents the number of the inner child, which I talk a lot about, the age of the inner child. If you are unaware of what the inner child is, you can always go to my YouTube. I have 2 videos, part 1 and part 2. What is the inner child? I'm going to be recording some more information on it because it is such a broad topic. But I just want to go ahead and I want to get into it with you today, Virgo. So we're going to be looking at the month of November and just pulling some cards that are going to help us get along. Now, I'll go ahead and say this out the gate, Virgo. If you are not a God believer, and I'm not talking about if you're not a Christian. I'm not talking about if you're not Baptist, if you're not Catholic, I'm not talking about religion. I'm saying between me and you here, Virgo, if you do not believe in God, if you don't want to hear about God, then this probably is not the video for you, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm always going to talk about God, and that's non-negotiable. I think that because I'm using my cards, some people might think, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. So we're talking about God. As always, getting God into the message. It always comes back to God, though, because he created everything. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Pull a couple more cards. So far, Virgo, I'm seeing some good shit for you. Can't even hold you. All right. I'm gonna give me a little drink of water. My throat's feeling real dry right now. Oh, man. All right. All right, Virgo. So the first card that I'm getting right here is the Empress. Okay. This is number 3 in my deck here, the Light Seers Tarot deck. So let me break it down here and tell you what I see. I see a lady who it looks like she's playing the role of like Mother Earth, because she's got trees in her hair, her stomach's made out of the earth, she's got fish on her back. It looks a little bit like wings. Okay. And she looks proud. And then there's the moon up in the front. Okay. So when I look at this card, Virgo, I see someone who is pregnant. Now, there's a couple different ways we can think of when we think of pregnancy. We can think of someone who is birthing new ideas. You know how you hear someone, they say they're pregnant with an idea, or they're pregnant with someone birthing new ideas. This could mean that someone's actually pregnant, physically in the flesh pregnant. But it looks like someone who is birthing new ideas. Someone who is, and might I add, Virgo, this lady on here is very beautiful, and I know a lot of Virgos are into the beauty thing. They be having all the tips. They have all the. So I see someone who is having new ideas. Someone who is pondering on some new ideas, dreaming about some new ideas, but does not know how to go about manifesting them. There may be some new projects coming up for you this month, Virgo. Something that you're really in the fields about. Something that you can't stop thinking about. When I look at the moon makes me think of like feelings, because the moon is symbolic for feelings. It's symbolic for emotions. It also has to do with, when we think about like how the moon has shadows, it also has to do with like the shadow self, or like you'll hear people talk about like when they talk about shadow work, like if you've ever heard someone talk about shadow work is just a really rough way of saying inner child healing, because it's the same thing. Inner child healing is something that takes place. Well, inner child is something that is in the subconscious, is trapped in the subconscious mind. It's from 0 to 7. It lays out the foundation, the ages of 0 to 7. It lays out the foundation for, who we are as an adult, things that may be happening with us, that we, like when you're like, okay, well, I'm this way, but I don't understand. It may be something that's trapped in the subconscious. That builds the foundation. After we turn 7, our brainwave, well, after the age of 7, so 8 really, our brainwave changes to a completely different brainwave. From 0 to 7, it's in the brainwave that takes in information. We're absorbing. So when you hear someone say, okay, children are a sponge, they're a sponge, because from 0 to 7, we're taking in information that helps us tell us who we are. It helps tell us about the people around us, our parents, our peers, our siblings. It helps give us a good idea of, how things are supposed to be. And then what happens is when we turn 8, we take what's in the subconscious mind, and we usually can't remember it, especially as we're adults, combine it with now our conscious state of mind, and then combine it with the external factors of the environment around us. So you may be, I want to translate that as you, Virgo, being in your feelings a little bit more this month. I feel like some of that stuff, some of that inner child stuff, you're starting to shed light on it. Now, I do want to tell you that during that process, Virgo, it is it's scary. It's scary to look at things from your past, especially stuff that you don't remember. And it takes a lot of bravery to do that. So that is something that will have you in your feelings. And that is something that you kind of have to navigate through, and be kind to yourself the entire way. For you, Virgo, I really feel like that What is the Inner Child video would help, just as far as you getting an access, because it's so important for everyone to, the inner child healing, is very important to heal that, because simply put, the children are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So if the children are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, and we're all considered God's children, but when we think about what the Bible is, and I don't want to like make anyone think that I'm Bible thumping, because that's not what I'm doing. I have my own beliefs, and I've done my own research as far as the Bible goes. And so I know that, it's a book that needs a lot of discernment, but in that discernment, you have to be able to see the symbolism, because it's a literal book and it's a symbolic book at the same time. In conversations, Virgo, that I've had with God, in those moments where I can just hear his voice and he gives me understanding, or I can hear a voice that that he knows that I'll, a voice that he knows that I'll understand. Sometimes it's my own voice, just a higher part of me. But in the conversations that we have had, I have received the understanding. Now, the children, they're the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So when we think about what that means as far as literally and symbolically, the children are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven because the children are lighthearted. The children are forgiving. The children are joyful. The children are loving. The children are playful. When God created us, this is how he created us to be. But when we get here on earth, traumas happen, things that make us sad, things that hurt us, things that make us angry. And so what that stuff does on an energetic standpoint is it makes us heavier. It makes us not as light. You know how people say, carrying around all these feelings is like carrying around a sack of potatoes. That's what it's like. So the hurt, the pain, all those things that you have, that you carry with you on a daily basis energetically, in order to get into heaven, you can't have any of that. All of that has to be gone. So how do we get rid of that? We work through that. We shed light on the subconscious. We shed light on, the things that helped us create the foundations of who we are in this world and what this world, is around us, or how this world is around us. So I see, Virgo, you doing some inner child work, you doing some healing. You may be having some strange dreams. There may be some things showing up in your dreams, but whatever it is, you need to work through this, because I feel like, Virgo, you are a natural creative. And I mean, we're all creators, in our own right, but I feel like it's time for you to start tapping into your creative energy. You may feel, disconnected from your childhood, or disconnected from any type of creativity. But that's one of the biggest lies. We were all created as some type of a creative. Now, if you're unaware as to what that creative is, you can try doing some new things. If there's some new things that you're wanting to do. I apologize if you hear Baby Shark in the back. I have my baby with me in my office. Um, so you need to learn how to tap into that essence. I feel like with this card, another thing is spending time with children. If you have toddlers, or if you're able to, you get the joy or the blessing to be around some toddlers, spend time with some toddlers and come down to eye level and see how they play. Watch how their mind works. See how they interact. See how loving and forgiving they are. It's that childlike essence in the end of everything that's going to save us. No one would think that it's something that small, but that's the only way that we go back to love. When we let go of all the terrible, terrible things that have happened to us, or some of the unfair things that have happened to us, and we're still able to produce love. The goal is to come here from love. Obviously, we're born into sin, so we have to work all that out. But then when we grow and we get older, we're supposed to have the heart of a child and the wisdom of an adult. And that's what's going to get you in. So one thing that may help, Virgo, is maybe writing down your feelings, or if there's someone that you can talk to express some things. I want you to start exploring. He's mad because his baby shark is gone. Yeah. Here, baby. I want you to start exploring the inner child part of you. But I feel like some of that's starting to come out. And I feel like that may be helping you on a creative side, or you may need to tap into that energy to be able to pull that creativeness forward. Whenever I see fish, just because if you think about like what, and it's not about religion, but if you think about like what the Christian symbol is, I don't know if any other religions use it. The symbols is two fish. And if you know anything about astrology, then you know that the two fish are the Pisces. And if you know anything about the different ages that the world moves into, we have recently, I think in January, we moved from the age of the Aquarius, which is all about innovation, all about, creating new things, trying new things, looking at things from a different standpoint, to the age of the Pisces, which is really all about love. It's all about humanitarianism. It's all about, doing for others. Pisces is a major, major sign of love. So that's just kind of a way that we've been to. So for me, I'm going to tie these fish into love. I feel like, you're being moved to be more loving. You're being moved to be more, open your heart more, and tap into that lighter energy. Tap into that childlike essence. Tap into those feelings of love. And then 3, because the card is 3, and then it says the Empress. Like I said, the 3 is all about action. It's very important to be a person of action, because, and this is why I correlate and I tie our subconscious, our higher self, the part of us connected to God, to the 3-year-old self, the inner child. 1, because the children are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. 2, because 3-year-olds are real. They are real as fuck. If I'm 3 and I tell you if I tell you, and I always use this example, if I'm 3 and I tell you that you stink, I mean, I've thought about the fact that you stink. I've said the words you stink, and I'm probably going to cover my nose or do whatever it is that 3-year-olds do to insinuate you stink. But the thing is that 3-year-olds are real. Everything that they do lines up. It's consistent all the way across the board, from the thought to the action. Well, from the thought to the word to the action. It's consistent. And as we grow up in this world and we're told, you can't do that, you can't do this, some of that starts to, get away from us, and some of that starts to shift. So move into that space of being aligned with the inner child. The second card that I have here, Virgo, is Queen of Cups. Again, that emotion. So I see a lady here, and I see a cup in front of her. And I see there's things happening in all the world, and she's tapped into. Now I'm getting Pisces energy, so some of you may have a Pisces rising, some of you may have a Pisces moon, because this is someone, if anyone is a water sign, and you're not, Virgo, you are a earth sign, but if you are familiar with water signs, if you're surrounded by any type of a water sign, then you'll know water signs pick up on the environment very quickly. They pick up on everything that's going on, around them, because that's just the relationship that water has. Water is transmutable. Water can feel anything. I mean, if I've got some red water in a cup, and I put a couple drops of red in the cup, what's going to happen to that red? It's going to spread, and it's going to affect the water. So when we think about water and we think about the different elements, even though that's not your element, because yours is more earth, material things, finances, you like nice things, water signs are more about like what they can feel and being able to feel everything. So when I see Queen of Cups, Cups is our water signs, it's our Pisces, it's our Scorpios, it is our Cancers. I'm a Cancer. So the first thing that I'm feeling when I see this card is emotion. Like I said, you've been in your feelings. It's almost like there's a heightened sense of emotion, though. Like you can feel everything that's around you. Now, this lady, she's really into her water. Like she's in tune. She's got a water crown you can't see. She has a triangle, which triangle symbolizes emotions. Like I said, you see her table made out of water in her cup. She is in her feelings, and she is trying to figure out how to sort her way out. This is new territory because she's not used to being, Virgo, you're not used to being so emotional. You're not used to it. You can usually put on a poker face, but it's almost like the emotions are bursting out of you, and you're not quite sure how to handle it. The way that I see this card is I see someone, and the first thing I hear is peace, be still. You're overworked, Virgo. You're overrun with emotion, and you're not handling it well. I'm sorry. I feel like as I'm talking here, I feel like an overwhelming need. Like as I talk, I could start to cry. So I feel like you're there, Virgo. I feel like if someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, you all right? What's wrong?" You would, and they show genuine concern. I feel like you would just bust out in tears. I feel like you're not feeling it. You don't know how to do with these emotions. First thing I'm going to tell you is the thing I heard. Be still. Okay? Sit with it. Breathe with it. Emotions are nothing but energy in motion. And we have to learn how to sort through our emotional shit. We have to learn how to sift through it. You know, we live in a world where like, okay, you're having a bad day, let's go get some drinks, girl. Or some shit fucked up. Hey, bro, want to go get her? Like, that's the world that we live in, where when things are wrong, we're all taught to like cover it. We're all taught to like pacify. We're taught to drink. We're taught to do the drugs. We're taught to cover it up. We're not taught how to work through it. We're not taught how to process, our emotions. The gag there is our parents are actually the ones responsible for showing us how to process our emotions. But the problem is if we have emotionally unintelligent parents who don't know how to process their emotions, then how are they going to show us how to process ours? Plus, we are, the parents that we have, and I say for the people my age, like in our 30s, mid 30s, even 40s, a lot of us have parents that might have struggled to get things, a lot of single mothers, some single fathers, people who have not had it easy. And because they have not had it easy, they have wanted some of us, like I said, the people in my generation to, they have wanted some of us to, you know, they see no problem with some of us having went through the same things because I didn't have anyone, no one held my hand while I did this and you know what, to an extent, like that's okay, but we are the generation, us as parents, we're the ones that don't want our children to go through what we've been through because it was so fucked up. But some of us, and I feel some of you, Virgo, it's not just you, Virgo, but some of us lack now even the emotional intelligence to sift through our feelings. So if we have children and we're not handling our feelings and we're not processing and we're not sifting and say we're just drinking all the time or we're just drugging all the time, then Virgo, what are we teaching our children about emotions? One, we're teaching our children that emotions are bad. You don't want to feel them. They're unbearable. Don't do it. And you're teaching our children that emotions are not to be worked through. They're to be covered. But what we're also teaching them, and they won't know it till it's their time to shine, is that when we cover these emotions, they don't go anywhere. It's just a band-aid over a fucking very permanent problem, Virgo. So pray. Pray often. I myself have been through a lot, Virgo, and I am a very open book when it comes to the shit that I've been through. Some things I can talk about and not cry, like as if it wasn't me and I'm detached from that moment. Some things I'll still talk about to this day and I'll still cry because it's not so much having been through the things. What makes me cry when I talk about my past sometimes is having made it through some things. And, a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that knew me in my darkest hour that turn to me and want to talk to me about a lot of things. And they want to know how I got where I got. How did you get there? You're so strong. You're so, honey, the one thing, and I actually had to tell a friend of mine, to get to where I'm at, it took a lot of tears. It took a lot of crying. And it took a lot of praying. If it wasn't for God, I don't know how I would have made it through some of the hardest times in my life. I was an alcoholic twice before the age of 21. I had, a love affair with, substances. When I was a teenager, I was just one of those that maybe would take anything I could get. I mean, I've been through so much. So that's where my love of God comes from. And so when I've been in these moments, when I've had these moments where I'm about to cry on the verge of what's wrong, when my emotions are just bleeding over and I can't handle them. And this card takes me back to high school when I didn't know what a cancer was, when I didn't, I knew I had no knowledge of self, none. All I did was do drugs. That was it. And drink and party. I was a party girl. Like, I had no knowledge of who I was as a woman, as a black woman, as a child of God. Even though I lived in a home at the time with my grandmother and she's, a very devout Christian, with the religion and the things she was saying, because I was who I was, none of that resonated for me. So I was very lost. I was very lost inside, my own self-pity and my own traumas and my own problems. But the one thing that I'm going to say is be still, so that God can hear you and so that you can hear yourself. You're allowed peace of mind. And if you find that you don't have peace of mind, you need to take it. One thing about free will is we get to choose. We have choice, power of choice. As long as you have choices, you have power. Okay? As long as you have choices, Virgo, you have power. He's so smart. He'll just come up here and want me to skip the ads so that he could watch Baby Shark. Here, baby. Go ahead. Have a seat. Love you. So I'm feeling you're very in your emotions, but I'm feeling, how do you step out of your emotions? Pray. Now, I feel, Virgo, maybe that's the last thing you want to hear. You may think, okay, I've done that already and it's not working. You may think, but think about it, Virgo, okay? If you've prayed and you feel it's not working, what else have you done that's worked? Now, prayer, it's not about instant gratification. I know that the Bible says, and I know that you'll hear things like ask and you shall receive. It's a little misleading in the fact that asking isn't all it is. It's three energy. It's asking, speaking it into existence, or it's thinking. Before anything happens in this world, it has to start as a thought. It's speaking into existence, speaking, using your vocals to manifest. And then it's doing your part so that God could do his part. A lot of people don't understand, Virgo, that it's a duet. God chooses the people who chooses him. If we choose God, how do we choose God? We choose it by praising him. We choose it by having conversation with him. We choose him by living in a way that he would approve from. And it's not about living perfect. That's not what this is about, because God's definition of perfection is wholeness. It's about, we all have energy. We all have an internal guide. It's about doing things, Virgo, that you feel good about. It's about doing things that you feel proud of. Virgo, you have a lot of buried emotion, especially since it's like oozing out. you need to get real with yourself, and there's shit that you need to sort out emotionally on the emotional end of things. And I think that some of this stuff is coming up from the subconscious and it's boiling over. And if you feel like you need help of any kind, if you feel like you need emotional support or anything, I suggest that you look into how to get yourself the help you need. I talk about this often where Disney has it fucked up. Disney, and I say that like for women, or just the idea, Disney makes you think that somebody's going to come in and save you from things. Disney's not going to come and save you. You know, a Prince Charming or a princess is not going to come save you. The only one that can save you is yourself. Everyone has this, I want to say Captain Save-A-Ho, but this whole Prince Charming effect, it does not work like that. You know, you have to find power in yourself to push yourself, to save yourself. How do you find power in yourself, Virgo? You find power in your God. You find power in your father. You find power in that relationship and realize that you're just an extension of that power. Okay. 5 of Swords. Okay. I see someone here. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crows. There's someone here in the background too. I see little specks of red. I'm going to call it blood though. I see specks of green. I see specks of purple. I see a guy. Yeah, but okay. To me, Virgo, this looks like someone who's tired. Tired of living this way, tired of doing this, like, he's got his hand on his head and he's just like, ugh, fucking tired of this shit. Like, when is it gonna stop? Like, my head hurts, like, I'm just over it. I get a very over it vibe from the 5 of Swords. Now, usually when people see black, now, let's take it back a little bit. Swords, those are our air signs. So that's our Libra, that's our Gemini, those are our Aquarius, those are intellectual signs. Whatever it is going on in this person's head, I feel like they're just like, I'm fucking over it. And it has to do with communication. So there may be a conversation that you're repeatedly having, Virgo, over and over and over and over again, and it's not getting anywhere. No shifts are happening. No changes are happening. It's giving you a fucking headache because this conversation is just not getting anywhere. Virgo, in my head, I feel like this is like a relationship, or I feel like you're just pounding something and it's just like, stop. I feel like this is an omen to stop having that conversation because it's clearly getting you nowhere. And I don't think it's going to get you somewhere. I feel like you're dealing with someone because there's a person back here. This could be a person from the past trying to creep their way back in. This could be someone who is very dark in your life, someone who holds or carries a very dark energy in your life. And I only say that because this person is a complete black ass shadow. So this could be someone who holds a lot of dark ass energy in your life. This could be someone trying to pull you back to the past. This could be someone that you consider dead to you. Not literally, but like they're dead to you. You're just over it. You're done with it. And I almost feel like this too, right here. This crow is kind of trying to like pull you back into it. The conversation's not working. And so I feel like you keep having a conversation that is just like, it's dead. Like, and it's like, you're tired of it. Like you're like, oh, I'm just tired of having this conversation, but there's something that keeps pulling you back to try to have this conversation. I feel like you need to focus on yourself. This is why you're so fucked up here, Virgo. We're just in a season where people are separating. We're in a season where people are, where they're going away to find them true selves, because a lot of people are waking up and they're finding that the lives that they've picked for themselves, or the lives that they've designed for themselves, might not be the best path for them to go on. The relationship that they've been taking part in for the last 5, 6, 7 years might not be the relationship that you need to be in. I feel like you need solidarity. Virgo, I feel like you need to be alone. And when I say this, I don't mean you need to be alone forever. I don't mean that you are the type of person who shouldn't have someone. I feel like you've never stood on your own 2 feet. You've never been alone. I feel like you've always had someone whispering in your ear. I feel like you've always been living your life designed to live the way that other people want you to live it. I feel like you are not a sovereign being. I feel like you have not been free. You have not declared your freeness. You have not declared your sovereignty. I feel like you feel as though someone has kind of just been working the puppet strings and you're just an autopilot. This is your chance to break free. This right here, this birth of, passions, this birth of creativity, this birth of new ideas, managing your emotions, getting that shit together. This is your time to break free. I mean, this person is like a total badass and they're just tired of dancing with the devil. They're tired of the tango. 5 means let go. Let go of what no longer fits you. 5 of Swords, 5 means let go. Let go of that conversation. Let go of that person. Let go of the all black getup. Come out into the light. Let go of the alcohol. Let go of the sins. And we all sin and we all sin in a different way. We're all sinners. I get it. But there are things that we can do in this life to get us closer to God. Some of those things are analyzing the tricks of the devil, first and foremost. Once we have those tricks analyzed, seeing how does the devil have us playing into these tricks? How does the devil have us, how is he manipulating us? He is the ultimate trick master. But once you know God, God starts to open your eyes and he lets you in on the tricks of the devil. And the devil's pulling some tricks here. I can tell you for a shadow of a doubt, one of the biggest tricks that he has pulled is alcohol. People don't do enough about alcohol. People don't know enough about where alcohol came from, who gave who alcohol. The fact that they tried to ban alcohol, they tried to get rid of alcohol, and so many fucking people died because of it. Like, they know that this is a poison. When you go to the liquor store, a lot of them will say, liquor store, blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of liquor stores that if you pay attention, it'll say wine and spirits. So what does that let you know? First of all, that lets you know that wine is separate from the rest of that shit, okay? It lets you know that wine is not, it is not of no spirits. Now, we all know that if you crush some motherfucking grapes and you let them ferment, you let them do their damn thing, it's going to turn into some wine. We all get that. We don't know what the fuck they're putting in alcohol. Unless you work in an alcohol company or unless you're privy to that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was in a room casting motherfucking black magic over tons of crates of alcohol. We know that alcohol is spirits because think about it. As an adult, how many of us drink and then black out? And then you hear about all the shit that you did while you were blacked out and you remember none of it. And I saw this meme one day that was like, okay, if that's you, like if you're not remembering any of this and you check out, who is operating your body while you're checked out? Who? What is operating your body while you're checked out? I feel like it's time for you to come from out of the shadows, Virgo. It's time for you to take more responsibility for yourself. I know usually you can be more of a passive sign, but there has to be a part of you that moves forward. Okay. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and sweeten the pot with a loving words from Jesus, aka loving words from Yeshua. Now, Virgo, if you are wanting to get more clarity and if you are wanting to do things a little bit more personal, I do offer personal readings. You can go ahead and look in the description. It'll tell you about all the pages to follow. It'll tell you about how to book with me, how to get in contact with me. If you have any questions, I believe there's some type of messenger here on the YouTube. Okay. This is a loving words from Yeshua. So these are Bible verses. It says you having loving words from Jesus, but Yeshua is Jesus' real name. So I just like to try to pull a card like this to sweeten the pot at the end here. Hold on, honey. Crazy. Pray always. 21:36. This is how we handle this. Luke 21:36. Pray always. God is asking you. You are being called. You are being pushed to pray. Communicate with your Father. Get into that emotion with your Father. All of this that's overwhelming and juicy to come out, give it away to God. Do you know how many times, Virgo, that I have found myself, and I'm a water sign. I'm a Cancer rising, Scorpio moon, Cancer sun. You know, and then I have Scorpio throughout, you know, I'm water through, I'm bursting with water. So very often when I get into my emotions, I mean, I have my emotions more controlled now. Thank you, Jesus. But there have been times, Virgo, where I literally have just dropped to my knees in crying and in agony and just cried out to God. And it's some of the best cries I've ever had, because when you give that to him, when you scream out to him, when you shout out to him, when you let that go to God, there's a peace that washes over you. And in that moment, you know that that's no one but him. Pray, give it to God. You don't have to carry any of it, Virgo. You don't have to take any of this on. Give it to your Father. Virgo, I love you so much, and I'm hoping that you have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'm praying for you.